introduction.
Hi, my name is Alexandra. This is my Nana. Today is Sunday, November 26, 2006. Nana, what was your life like?
When I was a little girl like you, we lived way out in the country, and we had pigs and cows and chickens. And when we went to school, we went barefoot because we didn't have shoes. And do you go barefoot to school?
No.
What do you wear to school?
Shoes.
Well, do you walk?
Sometimes when, because my school is so close, but sometimes my mommy or daddy drives me to school.
Look at the camera. Well, see, you're lucky. See, you're lucky to get to go with your mommy and daddy. And sometimes we would walk together, and sometimes we would race, you know. And I had older sisters, but my brother was the baby, and he didn't go to school. And
How many sisters did you have?
How many
Sisters did you have?
How many sisters did you have?
7. There was 8 girls and 1 boy, and he was the baby, but he was such a good boy, and we loved him, and we still love him.
What were your siblings? What are your sisters and brothers' names?
My oldest sister's name was Margaret, but you know what we called her?
What?
Bill. Don't ask me why we called her Bill. And the next sister's name was Hattie. And we called her Shorty. But she wasn't short. And the next sister's name was Mildred. But we just called her Mildred. And the next sister was me. And they just called me Lo. And then there was Amy and Ina and Ruth. And you know what we call Ruth?
A funny video.
Spooky. Because she was born on Halloween. And then the next one was Ookie. But her real name was Ruth. And then the next one was named Dorothy. But you know what we called her? Popeye. You know why we called her that?
Why?
Because Popeye had just got in the funny papers, you know, where they printed in the funny papers. And we thought that Popeye was so funny that we just named her Popeye.
How are things different now?
Well, there's lots of children that just has one in their family. And then there's some that have 2. You have 2. Mm-hmm. You have a little sister. What's her name?
Avery.
Avery. Oh.
Who is this? And who's the baby?
That is, you know who that is?
No.
Show the camera.
Show the camera. That's Granddad. And that little girl with him is you. Put it down so they can see your face. See? Do you think that little girl's you?
Mhm.
Oh, he loved you. And he would read to you. And you had a bow in your hair. That was a pretty little baby, wasn't it? And he was such a good granddad. Yes, he was.
How did you meet Granddad?
One time I was walking home from school, and he came down the road. It was an old country road, and he came down the road with a load of hay. And there was.
Do you know what hay is? Do you know what hay is?
Do you know what hay is?
Do you know what hay is? What is it?
It's this hay. It's a big, like, it's kind of like a square shape.
Yes.
And then, like, sometimes horses eat it.
And cows.
And cows.
And that's where he'd been in the field cutting the hay, and they were taking a load of hay home to put in the barn for the cows and the horses. And there was a boy with him, and he said to that boy, "I'm going to marry that girl." And he was talking about me. Now, wasn't that funny? I didn't even know him. And then later, there was a little store down the road from us, and my sister and me walked down there one night, and he was down there at this little store. And he said, "Why can't I take y'all home?" And, you know, we were acting like we were so smart, you know. And we said, "No, we'll walk." And it wasn't long till he was coming to visit me in my home. And that's how I met him. And my mother just loved him.
How long were y'all married?
How long were y'all married?
63 years.
And did y'all have kids?
Did y'all have any kids?
Yeah. We had Ronnie Earl, and we had Donna, a girl and a boy. And they grew up, and both of them had children. One of them is your mother, and the other one is your uncle. And there is a picture of your uncle and your grandpa.
Grandpa and granddad.
That's grandpa, and that's granddad. Do you think they look alike?
I know.
I knew you'd like that. And they loved you. We have a big family now, don't we? There's lots of people in our family. And
we're going to cut and paste some of this stuff here. We have it. What other kind of questions do you want to ask her? Like, how did she drive to school? How did she, not drive to school, did she ride horses?
no,
Did you have any horses, or did you?
Yes, we had horses, but they were a little bit wild. And the kids were not allowed to ride them because they were not used to kids riding them, and just the adults rode them.
Did you train them?
They were not very well trained. They were just trained for the big people to ride. Now, even little people ride horses. And they're trained. They're well trained. And some of them will run when you when you kick them in the sides and some people wear spurs. Grandpa wore spurs. You know what spurs are?
Little things that go like behind your boot.
Mm-hmm. And when they kick the horses in the side, it makes them run. And the horses don't like that. So they run real fast so that they won't kick them anymore. Really, spurs are not good. And if you can train a horse and not use spurs, they're better. They're better trained over there. And there is Granddad right there.
That's a good picture.
See this picture of Granddad?
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what that is? Turn it around. Do you know what that is he's standing by? What is it?
A wheel.
A wagon wheel. That's a wheel off of a wagon.
And what was the wagon wheels for?
What was the wagon wheels for?
Well, they put on the, see right there is a buggy. And people used to ride in those buggies. And that was the wheel to them. And Granddad would drive the horses that pulled the wagon.
He would sit on top and then do fold the reins.
Right. See, you know a lot about that, don't you? Do you think you would have liked that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
What did Granddad do for a living?
What did Granddad do for a living?
Well, he farmed. He was a farmer. And then, in years later, when they started building airplanes, when he wasn't working on the farm, he helped build airplanes. And
What were the airplanes for?
it's with him and Ronnie.
What was the airplane for?
That was what they used in the war. You know, when they had wars.
Hey, go hand this to your sister and ask her
And,
to ask Nana about that.
So instead of like so instead of using an airplane to move to different countries, so instead of moving an airplane to different countries, you like go to different countries to visit people. You like went to the army and stuff.
That's right. And they rode on those airplanes, and they used them as fighter planes. And this one right here is a picture of my mother. And this, she would have been your great-grandmother. And this...
Great-great-grandmother.
Great-great-grandmother. And that is the other great-great-grandmother.
And what are their names? What were their names?
Was that like her mom?
Yes. And this one was too. And do you think I look like her?
I know.
Kind of.
That is Nana's mother, and that
This
one was
one.
Granddad's mother. And ask Nana, what were their names?
Well, what were their names?
You know what's so funny? Both of their name was Clara.
And did you know you were named after them? Did you
And
know
that's
that?
right. That's where
Alexandra Claire. That comes out Claire and Clara.
That's funny.
Pretty special.
Yes. And this is me and Ronnie, when Ronnie was a little boy.
With Grandpa. That's right.
That's Grandpa. Isn't that a funny thing? Did you ever think your grandmother was that young? I don't either. But it was fun being a mother, wasn't it?
Now, what did she do before she had kids?
What did she do before she had kids?
Ask me. Well, I sewed, I made their clothes, and I cooked.
See, and how did you make butter and all that stuff in your bowl?
And I churned butter, because, you know, we had cows, and I churned butter, and, you know, the kind that was like this, you know, like that one over in the corner, and it had they call that a churn dasher, that thing that went up and down. And it,
so you didn't buy butter and milk from the store?
No. You
No.
We didn't buy it.
Answer the question, honey.
Did you buy any milk or butter?
Oh, no, we made it. We made it. They milked the cows, and the milk would have to sit a day or two, and then it would turn to buttermilk when you churn it. And you skim the butter off of it and work the water out of it, and there you have butter.
How about eggs?
How about eggs?
Well, we had chickens.
That lived with you? You asked the
That
question?
live with you?
Oh, no, they lived in the hen house. And then, they lived in the hen house, and they would lay eggs, and we would have the eggs for breakfast. Do you like eggs?
Eggs that are cooked, but not boiled eggs.
You don't like boiled eggs? I love boiled eggs.
I like them, but I just don't like the yellow stuff.
Oh, that's the part I like.
That's called yolk.
Is that called yolk?
Yeah, that's called yolk. But when it's boiled, it gets kind of hard, not real hard, and then you hide them at Easter. And it's fun to look for them in the grass. Did you ever look for them?
No, but once it rained when my cousins were over, funny what happened?
No.
On Easter it rained, so we had to play it in the house.
Oh, did you hide the eggs in the house?
Mm.
I bet that's fun.
Did you ask Nana, did you have your own room growing up, or did you have to share a room with your sisters?
Did you have your own room, or did you have to share a room with your sisters?
Oh my, we didn't have a room of our own. We were kind of poor, and we lived in a little house, and I slept. Did you know that sometimes there would be 4 or 5 of us sleeping in the same bed?
How big was the bed?
Not very big. But we had fun. And we had lots of fun. And you know, my daddy was very strict, and he wouldn't let us talk at the table. Do you talk at your table when you're eating?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my daddy wouldn't let us. But sometimes we'd get tickled, and we couldn't keep from laughing, and we'd get in trouble. And he'd make us leave the table.
To talk?
No, because we were talking, and we couldn't quit laughing. Our tickle box was turned over. Did you ever hear that? That's when you're laughing and can't quit. That means your tickle box is turned over. And one time, my, I think it was cousins, I don't know which one, but they were visiting us, and see, their daddy wasn't real strict on them, and they could laugh and talk and do whatever they wanted to at the table. Well, this is the truth, too. Well, we all got tickled, and he made us all leave the table, and it was raining outside, and we couldn't go outside, so we went out on the front porch, and it was muddy out there. And my cousin was a boy, and he just fell down on the porch in that mud and laughed. So see, we had lots of fun, even if we were poor, didn't we?
Hey, Alexandra, ask her what she liked to play. They didn't have they just asked to give a TV.
You know what you got for Christmas?
That's a good question.
What did you get for Christmas, and what did you play?
You mean when we were outside? Oh, we'd play hide and go seek. And another thing we'd do, we'd throw a ball over the house. Our house wasn't very big. And we could throw the ball, and it would go over the house. And whoever was on the other side of the house, if they caught it, they won. She's just blinking her eyes.
These are good stories.
Oh.
They didn't have like TVs or radios or music like that.
No, we didn't even have anything like inside to play with.
Oh,
And,
do you have a light?
We had lamps.
Oh, they didn't have electricity.
No, we didn't have
Oh, you have to talk to
electricity.
so you have to explain all that. Alexandra, ask her about, they didn't have electricity or running water inside. They had to go to the bathroom outside. Ask her.
Did you have running water or electricity?
No. And let me tell you, we had an outside toilet. And we had to go out there to use the bathroom, to use the pump. And it was about that far, the door was about that far off the ground. And we had an old mean rooster. And every time we go out there, he'd go underneath that opening at the bottom of the door, and he would pet us. And we'd jump up on the toilet seat, which had 2 holes. The teacher probably let you put this in there. Anyway, we didn't like that rooster at all, and we'd howl and tell our mama or daddy to come get that rooster out.
Did you name him?
No, we didn't like him.
Hey, ask your sister for Tommy stop. Hold on one second.